I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Friday.
A murderous candidate emerges. Vote for me or I'll kill you? That's probably not a good...
well he'll send his AI campaign manager after you. This is one of the wildest stories. This is in part why everyone loves the West story.
Yeah,
right? Because they come up with fun articles like this. A murderer running for governor of Colorado. Yes, he's still in prison. Don't worry. But he's not the only one that's out there that's kind of interesting. Running to be the chief executive of the state. There's a reality TV contestant, a former football star, multiple political party flip-floppers, they write, and even a felony convicted fraudster.
I'm just saying that...
Gotta love Colorado. We're in such a great place.
Yeah, there is some appeal to voters of electing a politician that is already in jail. I mean, it kind of cut out the middleman there. I'm kind of saying, kind of accomplish some stuff there.
This is the way I wanted to finish Friday. Because, of course, Thursday we're going to debate, the conflicts of Western civilization. But Friday, we're going to get into the fun stuff.
Also, Jeff, just want to take a moment here. We wanted to remind everybody, we covered this in the first hour, that there are a bunch of gas stations that are out there that got bad fuel, and you may see some gas stations that are closed, Costco, some King Soopers, things like that. There are a long list, and they go from Aurora all the way through Arvada, Boulder, Broomfield, Castle Pines. You've got some in Erie, Littleton, Parker, Thornton. On our first hour of the podcast and on Jeff's X feed, we have posted the entire list of gas stations that have been affected. Diesel was accidentally put into the regular fuel tanks there. It can be a problem for your car if you drive too far. Most of the time, it's just a tank fuel drain. So watch out, but go visit the first hour of our podcast or find Jeff's feed on the Twitters, because I refuse to call it X. And you can find all the entire list of affected gas stations to see if they're in your neighborhood. And the problem is between 3 p.m. on Wednesday. If you got gas after 3 p.m. on Wednesday at one of these places, that's when you're in danger.
Dude, if you hate X so much, go open your Blue Sky account.
No, because I just like that too. I mean, I go and I read both of them but I look at this and go, both of y'all are just screaming into the void. I'm just,
Now is time, though.
The thing for me is I'm not built well enough, and I'm not sexy enough to be on Instagram, so I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do.
Now it's time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning. It is Friday, 27, with some flurries in Denver, expecting a high of 34 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, DJT threatening land strikes on drug cartels, and Mexico may be a possible target. Hopefully. Last night on Fox News, 47 said that we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by water, and we're now going to start hitting land with regard to the cartels.
The cartels are running Mexico. It's very, very sad to watch and see what's happened to that country. But the cartels are running, and they're killing 250, 300,000 people in our country every single year. The drugs, it's horrible. It's devastated families. You lose a child or a parent. I mean, parents are dying, too, with drugs. So we've done a really good job. We're knocking it down. The numbers are really getting to be good.
And first Maduro, and now maybe the Mexican cartels. I'm having visions of Breaking Bad right now. We know what happens next if you watched Breaking Bad. Man, I'm sorry. That was a weakness of mine. I couldn't stop watching that thing. The Supreme Court has yet to rule on the legality of the president's global tariffs. The justices heard the case in early November and could have issued a ruling as early as today. Tensions remain high after a pair of shootings involving federal agents in 2 different cities this week. Protests have not stopped in Minneapolis since Wednesday's deadly shooting of the 37-year-old woman from the Springs by an ICE agent who she was trying to run over with her vehicle. Lauren Boebert on with Jeff and Billy this morning.
Now you're seeing the summer of love all over again. Here we are, not even a full 6 years later, and Minneapolis looks exactly or almost exactly like it did in 2020 when they were burning their own city down. And it's very unfortunate that this kind of manipulation and propaganda and influence causes people to react this way, to think.
Homeland Security says agents were attempting a traffic stop on a TDA gang member Thursday in Portland when the driver tried to run over an agent and shots were fired, sending 2 people to the hospital. The guy's also talking about the bad gas just a few minutes ago. A lot of people in the metro area put in their vehicles, unfortunately, this week. Hopefully you were not affected. A mechanic called into the show earlier this morning.
This whole thing is probably causing misfires, check engine lights, stuff like that. But I don't see it destroying a lot of stuff. I see it, maybe drain and fill mostly. But this had to have happened at a switching station or something like that, or somewhere where they filled these tankers. I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just somebody that messed up. That's my opinion on it.
5 Democratic-led states have filed lawsuits against the DJT administration over frozen child care funding. The freeze would cut the states off to over $10 billion in federal money that's meant to support low-income families. The 47 administration said it was put in place due to, of course, all the fraud that we have seen in the child care system, especially in Minneapolis. College football semifinals last night. This was a great game. 20 seconds to play. Miami trailing Ole Miss 27-24. They're inside the 5-yard line, and they have to score in order to win.
3 receivers bunch to the left. Becca's looking that way. And still looking. Takes off running. Carson Beck with his legs. Puts Miami on top. What a drive.
What a play. 31-27. They take on the winner of tonight's Indiana and Oregon game. The Cinderella team, Indiana. And that should be a lot of fun. Tonight, Nuggets back at home this evening. If you want to see NBA hoops in Lodo, they take on the Hawks, and the Avalanche, an 8-2 win over the Senators last night. 25 in Centennial, 24 in Arvada, 26 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Billy on a Friday. Blake Olson, News Talk, 710 KNUS.
Much colder and actually going to feel a little bit like winter for a change. Temperatures are going to be down just into the mid to upper 30s today, and that happens early. Lower 20s tonight and only low 30s for highs tomorrow. A storm system coming in, a little fragmented, will produce some light snow today and tonight into Friday morning. Denver could see an inch or 2. Snow will be heavier in the foothills and mountains and to the south of Denver, where the storm system will track a little bit closer. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Well, we got a murderer running for governor of Colorado. Why not? And of course, he's registered as a Republican.
Oh, jeez. That's not good. That's just not good at all.
Oh, good night. This is why we love Westward. They've got great articles like this. Joining us now is the author of this article, Hannah Metzger. Hannah, great, interesting dive into some really fascinating people that have now made up 40-plus people running for governor of Colorado. I'm just going to turn it over to you. This is a circus.
Yeah.
Help us understand what's happening. Who is Gregory Thomas?
Right. So Gregory Thomas is a Republican who recently filed to run for governor in 2026, except he's currently in prison because he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in 2023. So he's actually not legally eligible to run, but that didn't stop him from filing the paperwork and promoting his campaign all over social media and with AI-generated images of himself and his seemingly fake campaign staff.
I mean, he's in jail. How do you do this while you're in jail? Can you do this while you're in jail? You get a little computer access and come up with AI images of yourself? That's allowed?
I guess it probably depends on each individual prisoner and each individual prison. But yeah, all you really need to file is access to a computer.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so he did some terrible stuff. There's a woman found in his storage unit or something like that. Help us understand the crime he committed.
Yeah, in 2021, he fatally shot a 21-year-old woman, and then he hid her body inside of a dumpster, which he put inside of his own rented storage unit. And it remained there for 2 months before the employees eventually found the body because of the smells and the liquids. And at that point, he fled the state, but he was arrested a couple of days later.
Bill, I don't.
Wow.
I don't even know what to say at this point.
No.
And then this guy. So prison's kind of a weird world. I get letters from people in prison. I don't know if you guys ever have, but people will be like, hey, can you advocate for my case? I'm innocent. They put me in jail. And I think what people do is sit around and like just write letters to anybody that may have a voice and try to get attention.
Now, Hannah Metzger, this is kind of, you haven't been on the show a lot of things like that, and you don't understand the difference between Jeff and I, and this is one of those things that outlines this perfectly. Jeff's talking about letters, people writing to him saying, hey, can you help me with this case and help me with that case? Because I also work in FM radio, I get letters, but they're fan mail from prisoners, and it's really awkward.
Do you get fan mail from prisoners? You really do?
Yes. Yeah.
What? What do they say?
It's things like, oh, thanks for playing my favorite songs. I love when I hear this. I think you make the day easier. It's typical stuff, but it's, yeah.
Did you ever hear that Stephen Tubbs had a fan?
One?
Did you ever
I thought
hear?
he had more. No,
well, I mean, did you ever hear about this particular fan?
No, not that I'm aware of. Ooh, Hannah, sit back. This is going to be fun.
Named Timothy McVeigh.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that because of his early reporting. Yeah, because he was down there and Tim had taught some of his early reporting.
And his attorney contacted Stephen Tubbs and was like, Timothy listens to you.
Yeah.
All right. So this guy, rather than writing fan mail to, small unknown radio hosts, decides to run for governor. Have you been able to talk to him? Do you know why he's doing this? Anything like that?
I haven't been able to speak to him, but based on his campaign website, he says that the experience of going to prison made him committed to community justice and to improving Colorado for everyone. The fact that he's not eligible for parole until 2056 makes me think that maybe he has ulterior motives of maybe pardoning himself, but he hasn't said that.
I mean, is he trying to claim he's innocent? I know that he says that he wants to address the criminal aspect of how people are treated in this state, but it doesn't seem like he's out there banging the drum that he was wrongly convicted. Do I have that incorrect?
No, I think that's correct. He never says in any of his statements that he's innocent. He just says that he's learned from the experience. And he pleaded guilty in court. And that was less than 3 years ago. So I guess he's just changed man.
Perfect. This is a perfect aspect to the circus that is Colorado politics. Now, you mentioned that he also has AI-generated staff, campaign staff.
Yeah, that's right. He has multiple photos of people on his website that he lists as his campaign staff and his communication directors, and even includes quotes from them on his website, except the photos that he uses are absolutely AI-generated, say apparently AI-generated, but if you run them through any of the detection softwares, it says they are, and it's very clear looking at them that they are. And when I tried to search for the names, I couldn't find anyone matching those names and those descriptions.
So the people are fake. The whole campaign staff's fake. I'll be honest, guys, and I'd love your perspective on this, Hannah, as well. If prisoners have access to AI stuff like this, it seems like they could do a lot worse damage. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't love the prospect of them having access to the AI. Mostly, I don't love the prospect of AI technology in election campaigning. Colorado also actually passed a state law, I believe, in 2024 that mandated that if AI-generated images or content are used in campaigns, they have to be expressly communicated, and he isn't doing that. So
Wait, hold on. The criminal is also breaking other laws? I'm shocked here.
And what are we going to do? He's already in prison.
All right.
Although
maybe not give him a computer, Bill.
I do kind of like to honor the idea that he's like, yeah, maybe I killed her. I'm guilty. How often do we get a politician that at least says, yeah, I did it? I mean, that is refreshing. I'm not happy that he did this necessary crime and he's doing possibly other crimes, but it is refreshing for someone to take at least responsibility for the actions. That's, we don't get that often. I'm being facetious, but still.
I mean, Bill, don't you think that they could be doing other terrible stuff with this AI stuff? Like you I don't want to say you have a criminal mind, but there's a part of your mind that can sometimes
yes.
Come up with criminally stuff. If you were in prison and you had access to a computer and AI stuff, what would you do?
Oh, I would start generating a whole bunch of legal briefs and other things, and I would try to fudge the idea that there has been a change or a ruling in my sentence and that I need to have different parameters. And I would test, and personally I would test the waters. First, I would just do things like I would try to get more privileges just to see if it works. I wouldn't say, hey, you got to let the criminal Bill Thorpe out. It would be, he deserves more time in the yard. He should have more money out at the commissary. He should not be working this hard job. He should be over here. And if it works, I'm going all in. I'm getting my ass out of there.
Or what about generating evidence?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's new evidence, new film video of me eating at McDonald's instead of committing the crime.
Or generate film evidence against the warden. Right. Do it that way.
Right. Oh, well, Hannah, you also detail a whole lot of other funny, interesting folks that are running. We got a reality TV contestant, a former football star, multiple political party flip-floppers, you're right, and even a felony convicted fraudster. All running to lead the state of Colorado. Help us understand this interesting cast of characters.
Absolutely. So the reality TV contestant, his name's Willow John Colomer. He's an unaffiliated candidate, and he was in this reality show where strangers are tied together with a rope, and then they have to try to survive in the wilderness. The former football star, that's Joshua Griffin. He's a Republican candidate, and in 2019, he was the oldest Division I player in college football for CSU. The felony convicted fraudster, that's Joshua Rodriguez. He's a libertarian candidate, and he's run for 1 million different offices under 1 million different political parties, but he made headlines in 2022 because he was arrested on identity theft charges in the middle of his congressional campaign.
This is getting better and better.
I know. Isn't this a great article?
This is great.
That Hannah, it's like a clown car. They just come out, keep coming out, and get weirder and weirder. All right, let's talk the guy that was on the reality TV show where he was tied to a rope. I actually think that might be incredibly qualifying when it comes to being in politics. I mean, did he have to work to problem solve, and figure out all this stuff? Have you watched any of those episodes? How did he do in the show?
I didn't watch the entire episode, but from the clips I saw, it seemed that he's kind of antagonistic, and he was arguing a lot with the man that he was tied to. So I don't know if people who watch the episode are going to find it very qualifying. It doesn't seem like he's great at communication or problem solving.
Bill, could you imagine you and I being tied together out in the woods? We would yell at each other, too.
Oh, yeah, we would. We'd scream and yell. And the question would be which one of us would start to gnaw off one of our appendages just to escape the other one. That would be the issue.
I mean, you said that's Willow John Colomer. He's from Boulder. He's a yogi. What's a yogi? That's somebody that's into yoga?
Either that or a picnic enthusiast. Sorry, bad joke. Sorry. bad.
And you have a link to his actual clips. Oh, good for you. Mm-hmm. Keith and Willow tethered together, and they were in Southeast Asia. All right, so is he the one in the pink or the camo?
He's the one in the pink, I believe.
They have these two guys. I'm just pulling it up now. They have these two guys. They're tied together. So the actual guy in the pink, who is the candidate, is wearing no shoes, Bill. He's got tattoos all over himself, and he's tied to a guy that looks like somebody you'd pull right out of Mississippi. So if you can imagine what that's like. And, yeah, you're exactly right. They do not look happy. But I don't know. Maybe this is good training for politics. So
yeah, maybe we have to. Maybe what we need to do is we should just tether two of the candidates together and send them out into the woods here in Colorado and then film them for like a week or so and see if they come back. I think that'd be kind of fun. Just here are the two candidates for Colorado Governor Survivor.
George Brockler and Phil Weiser. Yeah, you guys head out there and.
Oh my God! I think we've started the next reality series here. It is. It's Survivor Colorado, political edition.
We're talking to Hannah Metzger. Hannah's the author of a great piece in Westword about all the just clown circus of candidates running for office. Why do you think this is? Why are there 40 plus people running for governor in Colorado?
Well, for one, I think it's a big opportunity with Jared Polis being term limited. He's been so popular with voters that I think this is the first time in many years that people feel like they actually have an opportunity. It's an open seat. And also, it's really easy to file to run for governor in Colorado. It doesn't take a lot of effort. And as we see with the convicted murderer, they don't check your eligibility when you submit the paperwork. That comes later in the process. So these 42 people, they're not petitioning. They're not in the assembly process yet. All they've done is really sign up. And anyone can do that.
And there will be a winnowing here because there's rules and requirements with regards to getting on the ballot. Can you talk a little bit about those? You mentioned there's a caucus process, there's a ballot process. So people in November aren't going to get a ballot with 40 people, including a convicted killer, on their ballot, right?
Correct, yeah. So it'll break up into the party primaries. The parties do their own caucusing, and each candidate has to get a certain percentage of the votes of the caucus members to end up on the primary ballot. And that primary ballot will be sent to voters. Republicans get the Republican primary, Democrats get the Democrats, unaffiliated gets both. And they will choose from that much shorter list of candidates who their party nominee is going to be. And for the unaffiliated candidates, they have to petition onto the ballot, get a certain number of petition signatures. So you might see a couple of them on the ballot as well.
Well, it's a really entertaining article, especially on a Friday, to be able to go look at this cast of characters that Hannah's pulled together. Fantastic article. A murderer running for governor of Colorado. Go to westword.com, check out Hannah Metzger's great piece. Hannah, thank you for taking time to join the Jeff and Bill show this morning.
Yes, thank you, and have a great weekend.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, text messages are fun on this one.
Oh, yeah, they are. Yes.
3674. Tether, Lauren Boebert, and Jasmine Crockett together.
Oh, God, that would be funny. That would be really funny. In fact, how funny would it be to do something like tether Mike Johnson and Hakeem Jeffries together during like the government shutdown and then follow them and just make them try to force them to reopen the government? I mean, come on. That would be funny as heck.
It would be amazing. One of my favorite Impractical Jokers punishment was when Q was tethered to a mime for 24 hours.
Oh, my God. I do remember that.
Do you remember that episode?
That is fantastic.
And because he hates
crazy.
mimes, and the mime's doing the stupid glass thing and all that stuff.
And has to go around with him forever.
And he even has to go to the bathroom.
Yes, with him. Yes.
With a mime attached to him.
Oh, my God. That is fantastic. Those are some of the best punishments.
All right. Well, what does this say about Colorado? We end up with this just crazy cast of characters. I don't remember anything being this silly in the past politically. I know we've had a few characters run for office, but 40 plus reality TV stars, convicted murderers all coming in. Is this a further example of the decline of America? Look, we're a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Here's the people we're putting forward. Congratulations, Colorado. You're so far into the ditch. These are the candidates that we're getting right now. Is this a reflection, or is this just, a funny little moment? And who would you like to see tethered together? in politics.
Who would you? And how much fun would it be to turn this into some sort of like, Survivor-esque thing where you've got all these different weird candidates and then we get to, through our phones or text messages, vote and they snuff out somebody's torch, once a week. That'd be fun. Kind of whittle it down that way. That'd be great.
All right, let's talk Gyrie's, folks. My wife and I have had a wonderful experience with Gyrie's. They're all over the Denver metro area. We went to the one in Parker and got to sit down with their professional designer who showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Look, I was a little overwhelmed at first. I've never worked with a design pro, mostly because I don't want to pay. We just went with cheap blinds, but they always kept breaking. I got frustrated. And Gyrie's wants to sponsor the show, so we went in. We've been so thrilled with Gyrie's. I'm going back for a second round of blinds in another part of our house. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Gyrie's has the solutions for you. Their designers are the experts, and they can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. Here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. They'll come directly to you. So you can get the same expert advice right in your own home. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit Gyrie's.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Gyrie's. You'll be sure to thank me. All right, we'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. By the way, the stock show is kicking off this week.
Yeah, you were down there yesterday. Tell us about the parade.
It was a fun parade.
Tell me.
Blowing up social media because I took a picture with Mike Johnston.
That's what I was hoping you'd bring that up. If not, I was going to poke you about that. You got a new bestie,
Yeah,
Mayor Mikey.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
talk
right.
to us about that.
Well, I saw him and I said, "Hey, Mayor Mikey," and he goes, "Jeff, last time I saw you was at the congressional hearing where he was being drilled by members of Congress in the House Oversight Committee."
Yeah, that's great.
And tip of the hat to friend of the show, Lauren Boebert, for helping me get the media pass to sit right behind him.
Yes. It was so cool. Yeah, so you bumped into him.
And by the way, they spent $2 million on the legal defense. You saw that, right? $2 million on the legal defense. Anyways.
Wasn't that good?
I saw Mayor Mikey out there. I immediately jumped on him, started wailing and punching him and kicking him.
Say uncle, say uncle.
Which is what apparently X wants me to do anytime I see him. People are like, "You took a picture with Mayor Mikey? Don't you know how much we hate him?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I don't like what he's doing this day. I think it's terrible."
Yeah.
But when I'm around people, I'm a nice guy. I'm sorry if you think I should hit people.
We could disagree on things like that. I mean, it's you and I were talking off air, Jeff, that if you live in Denver and born and raised here, you understand that you just need a couple of things to happen in your life. You need the Chiefs and the Raiders to lose and to suck horribly, and the Broncos to win. It doesn't mean you hate the people that are fans of Chiefs and Raiders. You still go out to the bar. You just gotta understand priorities. That's basically it.
That was fun.
Yeah, but that's really fun, and he's going to join the show hopefully too. So it's cool.
And so I'm there. We take a picture and I put it up there just because I know social media will love it. But then he says, "I'd love to come on your show sometime."
Yeah.
He goes, "I've heard great things," which is the reputation that's going among the Democrats, which is that this is a show where serious debate and discussion about policy issues can take place, and we're not going to assault them.
Yeah.
Number one, but we're also not going to be. I think Kyle Clark's mean-spirited when he has people he disagrees with on. And he almost intentionally tries to catch him off guard.
Yeah.
And as a result, Republicans are why the heck am I going to go on your show? Yeah. The way you treated Gabe Evans, for instance, about a vote with regards to corporal punishment in schools, random vote. And it came out not why did you vote to support corporal punishment in schools? It's do you support the abusing of children in schools?
Yeah.
And Gabe's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what do you mean? It's we've had Jeff Crank on here, and one of my favorite answers that he ever gave is I gave him an example of Donald Trump saying one thing, and then he said something else. I'm like, so when was Trump wrong? And he laughs. I mean, huge belly laugh. And he goes, well, he was wrong at this time, and this is why he's right now. And it was perfect. Was the question need to be asked? Yes, but we don't have to be jerks about it.
Yeah. So, Mike Johnston, the formal invitation has been sent to your offices. I went and spent time yesterday. The discussion of all discussions, because I think his leadership of the city is terrible. But I'm not a mean person.
No.
So
and we'll listen.
Come on the show and let's debate. Tell me why you are making Denver better.
Yeah.
The invitation's open.
Part of the reason that we're getting this reputation is because of y'all out there in the audience, is that you're coming here and it is a good intellectual discussion. It does get feisty at times, but it does also encompass a whole bunch of different ideas and political points of view. It is unlike anything else in Denver and really unique for the entire nation. And that's the reputation that you, our listeners, are helping us build. We can't do this without you, just like our man on the line right now, Frank from Evergreen.
We'll get to Frank here in just a second. Let's talk Colorado Christian University. This summer, the future of American conservatism takes center stage at the Western Conservative Summit, July 31st through August 1st at Colorado Christian University. As we mark the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, the summit will gather under the theme A New Birth of Freedom, Reigniting the American Dream. This is a moment to reflect and recommit to the truths that made America exceptional. That our rights come from God. Hey, did you hear that? Not government. That among these rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that the government exists to secure those rights, not redefine them. Join national leaders, scholars, policymakers, and other principled voices for 2 days of serious conversation about where we've been and where we must go next. Registration opens soon. Learn more at westernconservativesummit.com. That's westernconservativesummit.com. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Frank in Evergreen. Good morning, Frank. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning. To your point about rights coming from God, I'd like to reply to, I think it was Gary who mentioned that he would prefer men make choices, the decisions on men, etc.
No, wasn't that crazy?
I assume he's saying includes women in that too, but that's a stretch. Here's the thing: that's exactly what he's getting, because men are making these laws and decisions and everything. And for now, at least, they're making the right decision, which is to go with God. And but Gary, you might get lucky, and someday we might go back to hanging our children from trees. That could happen when men, ran things completely and God was out of the picture. I had another point too about
you think about how the Romans treated children, right?
Oh my gosh.
You go back to that. I mean, they just tossed you out back.
I was thinking the Vikings, but the Romans too, all of them, pre-God,
Right.
I had another point too about an earlier caller mentioned that it's the role of the Minnesota or Minneapolis police to do the investigation, and that's absolutely incorrect. It's not their role. Now they can be invited to do it, but it's a federal issue right now, and that's the way it should stay, because the Minnesota or Minneapolis police have, actually Minnesota police have refused to work with the federal government on every other case, and why would they let them in on this one? Here's the thing that people need to understand too, is that the police, Minnesota city police and state patrol, they are the Gestapo arm of the Democratic Party of Minnesota. And why would you let them in anything? Because it just doesn't make any sense at this point. They have completely refused to work with the federal government. They've, shirked their responsibility there. And, why would the feds let them in do anything? It's insane.
I like where you're going, Frank, with that, but it worries me when you describe the law enforcement as the Gestapo arm of the political party. How do you come to that conclusion?
I'm sorry.
No, but how do you come to that conclusion?
How do I come to the conclusion?
Yeah, how do you conclusion that? How do you get there?
Did you follow the, well, let's back up a little bit. I have a lot of inside information on this one, because my daughter was actually the comms director for the Republican Party of Minnesota at one point. And if you look at the history of the Republican Party of Minnesota, they have no money. They almost couldn't make their payroll at one point. And the state, the city of Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota, and the Democratic Party filed continuous lawsuits against the Republicans that kept them down to the point where it was hopeless for them to do anything. And you need to read the history on that. But
to be fair, though, we've seen that in other states and localities in which the political affiliations have been flipped. And we've seen that in other places. Yeah. It seems to be that that people do a lot of things in order to stay in power, not necessarily based on ideological beliefs. But I can see that. But
the thing is, though, back to my Gestapo comment. I mean, I'm sorry, they're really not the Gestapo. I get that. But here's the thing: is that when you look at the George Floyd situation. Now we have that whole thing was totally absurd, and it wasn't just the police there that went against I forget his name now, the cop that's in prison still. It wasn't just the police, but it was the entire infrastructure of the entire state of Minnesota that went against this. What was ended up being a cop in prison, which is absurd. I mean, this guy should be released. He should be pardoned. Of course, Trump would if he could, but he can't because it's a state crime. But it's just the state of Minnesota it has been and is now and probably will for a long time be in chaos. And it's just, I'm sorry. Why would you let the Minnesota City Police get involved in this this investigation about this current.
Now, Frank, sometimes, it's very surprising, I'm sure, in our discussions that I like to play devil's advocate. Now, I'm not taking this position, but I will say that there are going to be people out there that say, since this is a crime that happened inside of our community, shouldn't the people there in the community, the law enforcement, the mechanism, be the ones then to prosecute the crime? I understand that it's a federal agency that's involved, but what do you say to the individuals that say it should be prosecuted here within our own local community, that we should be able to do that?
Well, I would say, yes, there's plenty of crimes, and maybe, sadly, Mrs. Good is dead now, but maybe they should investigate Mrs. Good and all of her cohorts that broke the law. Why wouldn't they do that? Go knock yourself out. Make yourself.
But they could walk and chew gum at the
useful.
same time. They could do both, because I'm looking at the idea of, and I understand. See, I'm not arguing that it should be a local prosecution because of a federal agency being involved, but I can see where, local district attorneys, local law enforcement would say, we want to be able to investigate and possibly prosecute this local member of our community instead of the feds, because they may not trust the feds in order to do it properly. And it could be the feds don't trust the locals in order to do it properly too, which is I think it would be a fair critique on both sides. What do you do with that?
And I'd say touche turtle. Here's the thing that, it's not like they don't have anything to do with all these Somalis stealing our money. I mean, why don't they go after them? They got plenty to do, Billy. They're just not doing it. And they're not doing it because, like I said, they're the law enforcement arm of the Democratic Party. And it's been that way for a long time, and it will continue to be that way.
Frank, Evergreen, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Frank. Frank's line will be open, 303-696-1971. Going back to who might have to be tethered to whom in a forest for political purposes.
Yeah, who?
Could you imagine the poor sap tethered to Hillary Clinton?
Oh, jeez. I think his name's Bill. Sorry. Had to do that one.
Winning comment of the day, Mr. Thorpe. Thank you.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. I gotta go home now.
Pull the George Costanza.
Yes, exactly.
All right. From city streets to mountain trails, your gear should go wherever life takes you. That's why at Modern Rugged Leather, every bag is handcrafted from premium, responsibly sourced leather, designed to look sharp, last long, and tell a story of its own. Each stitch, buckle, strap reflects timeless craftsmanship and is backed by a lifetime warranty, because quality shouldn't quit when the adventure begins. Whether it's in the boardroom or the back roads, Modern Rugged Leather helps you carry confidence every step of the way. Modern Rugged Leather, modern style, timeless durability, backed for life. Life takes you places. Make sure your gear keeps up. Shop the full collection and find yours today at modernrugged.com. Again, that's modernrugged.com. I absolutely love my bag. It is the best leather bag I've ever had in my entire life. Go check out modernrugged.com. All right, we'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. It's been a wild show. I'm honored to have Lauren Boebert joining us early on. If you missed that conversation, go to 710knus.com. Trump had vetoed Boebert's water bill. Why? Was it political retribution for the Epstein files or a smart fiscal decision? We spoke directly with her and got some important insight. Bill, quick question as we wrap up here. With regards to Lauren Boebert, do you see her in the same problems that MTG found herself in with regards to Trump?
Not yet, but she's getting closer. I think that she's taking the wise angle on the water bill and not trying to make it hey, he's doing X, Y, and Z because of this, but she's getting closer. And what I am curious about, and this is totally probably unexpected based on the conversation we're having right now, is I'm curious to see if there are any other Republicans that may see there is some hay to be made by breaking with the president on certain issues because they know that he is in his final set of years. That if they think their career can continue beyond the Trump administration, then perhaps showing that you are an independent outside of the administration has some value to your constituency. But you've got to walk that very carefully. I think Lauren's doing it smart based on local issues of water. You could do it with ranch land. You could do it with, oil and gas, stuff like that. And again, Trump's not pushing back on those other than the water. But those would be very smart ones. Her going and pushing back against something like Venezuela, that's probably a bad political decision. So as long as she treads it right and stays true to what constituent issues are, not what social media issues are, I think it's smart, and I think it'll work out well for her in the long term.
Yeah, I'm also intrigued by his ability to get over stuff. Right? Like
yeah.
you saw Elon Musk and Trump, and Elon was saying some spicy things on social media about DJT.
They had dinner recently.
Yeah, right.
Did you see that picture, though? Did you see the picture as we're wrapping up here? The picture of them at Mar-a-Lago having dinner together?
I did, but I did.
Yeah.
What did you notice something in it?
Yeah.
What did you notice?
The velvet ropes that separated them from the rest of the riffraff.
Oh, yeah.
There were velvet ropes around the table, which, again, I want to be alone, but I also want to cause a scene. I kind of went,
there you go.
Okay. All righty, then.
There's no velvet ropes here on the Jeff and Bill Show.
No, not at all.
That's for sure. Well, it's been an absolutely fantastic week. Thank you to everybody that joined in the conversations, the debates, right, left, center. We are Denver's top talk radio show for a reason, because you're involved with it. We take phone calls. None of the other shows do. They do this weird voicemail thing. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Where they play a voicemail clip and then respond to it. But then there's no give and take.
No, you can't. Yeah.
Right?
Just silly.
So
we even talked to you back and forth in the text messages all morning.
That's right.
Sometimes not even on topics we're discussing.
Yeah.
Which is really fun.
Exactly. All right. We'll continue next week. You've been listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
Big deep breath.